Your worry, how is it serving you? Is it a projection of your mind, or is it actually here to save you from something? The only thing that matters is the next foreseeable step, the next day, the next week, the next month. Worrying often originates from this mechanism of self-preservation. It is a need wired in all of us to prevent ourselves from danger, to project certain situations into the future, to see the worst outcome possible and to safeguard ourselves from it. Of course, evolution has made us this way for a reason, but no longer are we living in a jungle with a tiger just looming around trying to eat us all. I think in today's time we spend a lot of time just thinking about the worst thing possible, and yeah, some of those concerns may be productive, but most of them is just wasting your mental and your emotional energy, and is also putting your body in a state of fight or flight, where your brain is thinking that it's in a state of potential danger coming in, when it's actually not. It is all just an imaginative process, and no wonder why stress is related to so much of health conditions and autoimmune diseases and other lifestyle conditions which we do not have a cause for, and we call it as idiopathic, but it's actually very related to stress and anxiety and worry being a root cause of it, and then we just don't know where to find the solution to it. So to understand this complex, abstract topic in an objective way, let's think of worry as something that is like a GPS signal. So your GPS signal is telling you different alternate paths and ways of reaching a destination, but while you are on that route, it's constantly bombarding you with like different alerts and alternative paths and just a lot of notifications, and before you realize, you are wind up and you are paralyzed, you're unable to think, and you wonder why don't you feel motivated enough to do anything in your life, and you are just engulfed by this existential dread, which happens to all of us. And I think that's a great analogy for our brains and the way our thoughts just keep thinking about the most negative thing that could happen, and even though in reality it's not true, it's just like we are lost in a maze, and our inner GPS has just broken down and it's giving us all the wrong signals. So let's understand how can we rewire our inner compass to let go of worry and start creating a life of ease. So to first tackle worry, we need to understand where is this certain cause of worrying is coming from. It could be something which you are projecting into the future, a certain fear that you think might not happen the way you want it to happen, and you can only answer this question for yourself as to what is the worst thing that could possibly happen. This is something that I take from Tim Ferriss, where he does this exercise called fear setting, and fear setting was also done by a lot of Stoic philosophers, and this actually goes in not having a negative outcome but embracing ourselves for the negative thing, the worst possible thing that could happen, and finding ways, a sort of inner strength within us to be able to combat all of that. Now, this fear setting exercise has to be treated with a lot of positivity in a sense, with a lot of conscious mindset that you don't, while you're thinking about the worst thing that could happen, you don't shut yourself down, because that's a very common mechanism that happens, that when we think about the worst thing that could happen, the easiest way to safeguard ourselves from all of that is to just shut ourselves down from being open to life, being open to situations, to relationships, to opportunities, to just not feel that hurt. So when you are thinking about the worst thing that could happen, just note it down, just speak it out without any judgment, without thinking, without having your brain jump to the solution right in that very moment. The first way you can do this fear setting exercise is to tell it out honestly. What is the worst thing that would happen? Why do you think it could be the worst possible outcome, without judgment, without that tinge of anxiety or fear that just stems right as you speak or say about the negative thing. Just let it be for a moment. So once you have put this down, once you've thought about the most negative, worst thing that could possibly happen to you and that you could still definitely be out of, you need to understand, is this worry serving you in the present moment? Is there something which you could do about this? And if it is something which is in your hand, so if it is something which you can do about, for example, if you're worrying about your health, you're worrying about dying early, just see if you're like exercising regularly, if you're like living a good healthy lifestyle, you're making good choices. And yeah, a car could just hit you any random day, so nobody has given if you are going to die early. But what is in your hand is that you can make healthy conscious choices to maximize your longevity and to live a healthy life while you still are here. And you just need to understand that a lot of things are never in our hand. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. So understanding what is in your hand and what is not when you've done the fear setting exercise can really help you. Secondly, I feel that we need to when we are projecting too much, too far into the future, thinking about what is going to happen, how is it going to happen, worrying about all those details, we need to cut it down and just break our goal for the future. For example, you worrying about your career, you worrying about your financial health and financial freedom. So you need to think about, is this worry really serving me? No. Am I taking actions to combat this worry? You can absolutely do that. So you need to ask yourself if you're taking actions in the present moment. If not, make a roadmap. If your goal is to earn a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time frame, so you define your goal and you define the time frame you want to reach it, because it really helps you combat that worry. And once you've done that, you make a roadmap which cuts down to this very step, this very moment. What is the next thing you can do in the next 5 minutes to reach that goal? So as soon as you put your body and your mind into action, as soon as you give your mind to do something instead of worrying, the worrying part actually fades away after a point. So make a foreseeable roadmap, and I have discussed some bit of it in my previous videos. So I will expand upon this even more, of how you can make a roadmap for your future and combat that worry into actionable steps. So once you've done this fear setting exercise and you've understood the roadmap for your life, roadmap of your success, and you've broken it down to this very moment to manageable chunks of action, you just now need to sit back and relax, because you need to understand that no matter how well your intentions or even how well your actions are, all you can do is just that it is in your hands and all that is in your control. Everything else outside of you is not in your control, no matter how hard you might want it to be. And that is completely okay, because this divine working, or whatever you may call it, really has its own way of doing things. And sometimes it's just really nice and an act of self-love and self-care to just let it be and surrender to things happening. It's not being lazy, but it is just surrendering to the flow, which in itself is a very beautiful concept to embrace in life. And I would just say this to you, that your worry is there for a reason, and don't run away from your fears or anxiety. Embrace them, understand them, sit with them, know what they are telling you to, and then just think for yourself, assess if that worry is actually serving you or not. I hope this was of help, and I hope this served you. Let me know what are you taking from this video, and if there's anything more you want me to talk about on similar lines, you can just let me know down below. And yeah, thank you for being around. So I hope this was of help, and thank you for giving me your time for me to express this abstract concept, but something which I feel that all of us should be talking about and learning more. And let me know what you take from this video. And thank you for being here. Please share the video with someone it could be of help, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you.